Hey guys, and welcome to my first ever Q&A video. Sorry it's so delayed. I mentioned this on Instagram. Most of October I had a bit of a cold, and then literally on my 100th day, my cold just hit me like a truck, and I was just in bed for like a week. At the beginning of my 100 days of makeup, I had, I think, between 500 and 600 subscribers, and as of today, I have, I think, right around 32,000. So I really wanted to make this video so my subscribers, both new and old, could get to know me a little better and ask me some questions. And I am going to do a frequently asked questions video as well, and I'll probably upload it tomorrow. And with all of that said, let's get into the Q&A. So I'm going to start with the YouTube questions. Let's start with an easy one. Meep Gaming asked, how are you? Well, I'm still a little sick, but I got a lot of much needed rest last week, so I'm feeling a lot better. Thank you so much. The Angel AJ Pony asked, hey Sarah, do you have any tips for people just starting out to use makeup for costumes? I would say, don't think you need to invest a ton into makeup. And for most of my looks, I like to sketch out a face chart beforehand, so I kind of have a game plan. I don't just go at it and hope for the best. Doing trial runs of your makeup can really help. If you're just starting out, doing a test run of a makeup can really help the final look and can help you learn things along the way and problem solve. Ignited Canvas asked me a few questions. Her first question, how did you go about becoming an SFX artist? I went to school for it. I attended Douglas Education Center in Monessen, Pennsylvania, and I was enrolled in Tom Savini's Special Makeup Effects program. But don't think you need to go to school, and definitely don't think you need to go to the exact same school that I did. I know a ton of self-taught artists that are crazy talented. Her second question, what kind of advice would you give to starting makeup and SFX artists like me? I say this to anyone that asks me my tips and how I got into it. I have a background in art. I've been doing art for as long as I can remember. My grandpa and my great-grandma were both very into art and encouraged me to pursue art. And in high school, I took a total of 10 art classes, things like sculpture, photography, drawing, painting, even printmaking. And honestly, understanding color theory and the principles of art and even just drawing and painting really translate into makeup. And then with special effects makeup specifically, I would tell you to definitely study anatomy, because if you understand human anatomy, then you can alter it in any way to create the most realistic effects. Question 3, what kind of advice would you give to starting YouTubers, also like me? I don't know if I'd consider myself a YouTuber yet. I definitely am trying to get there. Honestly, just do it. Don't think you need super fancy equipment. When I first started out, and for the first 3 or so months, I filmed and edited all of my videos on my iPhone. And I didn't start filming my videos with a DSLR until April or May of this year. Up until then, all my videos were shot on my iPhone. But if you're going to do makeup videos, definitely invest in some form of backdrop, whether it be a plain color like mine or one of the sparkly sequin ones like a lot of people have. At least to me, you don't want a super cluttered background when you're doing makeup, because you want the focus to be on your makeup. Make sure you have good lighting, whether it be natural lighting. I live in a pretty heavily wooded area, so I unfortunately cannot use natural light. I had to invest in a kit of soft boxes, which I just got on Amazon for like 60 bucks. They're some of the cheapest soft boxes you can buy. So that is my advice. 4, what other kind of skills should a makeup and SFX artist have? Learn how to properly sanitize makeup, because you don't want to be that person that's going to spread infection on a set or from different clients. And I think just a professional attitude. That's not really a skill. Nothing will get you blacklisted faster if you're working in the industry than if you have a bad or rude attitude on set, because people simply don't want to work with those people. Helen Nykirk asked, how long do these usually take? Gay.taku on Instagram also asked me about how long each makeup takes. Something like one of my sister location makeups, or like my Weeping Angel, that's a full body paint look. Those usually take around 2.5 to 3 hours. But something like the cracked doll or my marionette can take as short as 30 minutes to an hour. Procraft asked, are you left-handed? I am indeed left-handed. Blue Ninja Girl 29 asked, how do you get the designs for your makeup tutorial? If it's a character makeup like Ursula or a Weeping Angel or Ballora or Baby, obviously I look at reference images of those characters and then try and emulate them as close as possible. But if it's something like my Candy Clown or my Red Death look, then I design it. I'll have an idea in my head and maybe look at some reference images for anatomy, like for the skeleton and things like that, and then I'll usually do a face chart and design them out. Liza Arts asked me a few questions. She asked, how did you learn all those techniques for body painting? Again, I started with regular painting, and all the techniques that apply in regular traditional painting apply to body painting. And she also asked, do you have any tips for beginners? Just learning how to do it on paper can really help, because I get a lot of people are like, how do you do that on yourself? And it's really just learning to control a brush. And XA asked, where are you from? I am from Georgia. Heidi the Human asked, do you have a specific brand of face paint that you use? All the products I use are always listed in the description because I do use a few different brands of body paints, but the brands I use are Mayron Paradise Paints, Fab, Diamond FX, and Wolf. Justine asked, how did you learn how to paint with so much depth for your costumes? Again, I started with drawing and painting on paper and canvas and learned that way. I took so many art classes. So those are all the questions from YouTube. Now I'm going to move on to the questions from Instagram. Butterfly Jasmine 49 on Instagram, who is one of my favorite people on Instagram, asked me a total of 6 questions. What is my lighting and camera setup? So as I mentioned earlier, I have 2 soft boxes and I shoot on the Canon Rebel T5i. Her second question, is your day job in the art field? Currently, it is not. I have done some freelance work here and there in the special effects makeup industry. I did work on a music video and a small film last year, and I've worked the past 2 years in a haunted house doing makeup, but the job that pays the bills is actually doing some clerical work at my mom's office. What's your favorite type of look to do on yourself or others? Effects, body paint, or beauty? At the moment, it's probably body painting. I do love special effects. In special effects makeup, you can create a prosthetic to create new features. In a body painting, you create those illusions with just paint to trick the eye, and I really like that challenge. 4. Are your family and friends supportive of all of this? Insta, YouTube, and makeup. Yes, they are. I don't think I could do this if they weren't. What is my favorite color? My favorite color is like that vintagey teal that cars and like kitchen appliances used to be. And her final question, you've mentioned before that you've lost some weight and you're in the best shape you've been in a while. What did you do or change to make that happen? I did talk about this on Instagram after getting some comments about being fat and a whale, which I do get somewhat frequently. Let's get real for a second. I've been bigger my entire life. I am just a large human in general. I'm 5'9" and do have a larger frame. I am not someone who is ever going to be stick thin, and I have been made fun of for my weight my entire life, and I have been on diet plans and exercise plans to try and change that, and I've always gained the weight back. I've gone through cycles and cycles of losing 20 to 30 pounds and then gaining it all back. I've never been able to keep it off. Late last year and early this year, I cut a lot of things out of my diet because I am definitely a stress eater, which I know is not healthy, and I'm a snacker, so I cut out soda and potato chips from my life, and I'm a pescatarian, more so verging on vegetarian most of the time, and I was eating a lot of soy meat, which is super high in sodium and not really good for you at all, so I switched from eating mostly soy meat to beans and things like that for my protein instead, and I've been able to lose 20 to 25 pounds and keep it off. So yeah, that's what I did. I just cut a lot of stuff out of my life because I hate exercising, and I know exercise is so good for you, but even when I was a dancer and I danced 6 days a week, tap, jazz, ballet, and modern, I didn't lose weight. Okay, about this, Scoob asked, what has your experience been with makeup? How did you learn everything, and what got you into doing it? So I already talked about how I learned everything. So as you know, I've always been into art, but I didn't feel the need to go to a traditional art school because I didn't think I necessarily needed to go to school to become like a sculptor. I didn't think I needed a degree to be a sculptor. And And I'm someone who really likes to do different stuff. I don't like to do the same things over and over and over. I like to have variety. I like to kind of have my hands in everything in terms of art. And special effects makeup combines a lot of different things. So that's kind of what got me into it, was that it combined a lot of my interests in terms of art. Probably going to butcher this name. Marax Life asked, do you get tired sometimes when you do makeup effects? And who inspired you to do this? I do get tired when I do some makeups. More so, my eyes get tired. As you can see, I wear glasses, but when I body paint and do makeup, I don't have them on, and I don't wear contacts, so I'm kind of like squinting a lot. And I think that's why a lot of people are like, you look bored, or you look tired, or you look mad. It's because I'm like squinting to kind of see the makeup a little better. One of my teachers in school taught me this, was like, if you kind of squint at a makeup look, it blurs your vision a little bit. You can see if the illusion is working. So if I'm doing something where I'm trying to hide features, if I squint at it, then it blurs my features and I see the makeup as a whole and less of me with paint on top of myself. But yeah, I do get tired when doing some makeups, and even sometimes in the middle of a makeup, I'll look at it and I go, this is horrible, I hate this, I'm so tired of doing this, but I just like push through it, and most times they end up really good. That sounds cocky, but I end up really liking them and being really proud of them. That sounds better. Who inspired me to do this? I don't really think anyone inspired me to get into makeup specifically. My grandpa and great-grandmother inspired me to pursue art because they were both very artistic. My great-grandmother owned a pottery studio, and they kind of pushed me into getting into art. Elham.kmr, I feel like I'm butchering these names, so sorry if I do. Ask, are you going to an SFX school or something like that? If yes, where, and what is the name of the school/university? Like I said earlier, I attended Douglas Education Center in Monessen, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour outside of Pittsburgh, and studied Tom Savini's special makeup effects program. But do not think you need to go to school in order to pursue special effects makeup, and definitely don't think you need to go to school to pursue body painting. Byurn, B-Y-U-U-R-N, I don't know, wants to know about the starter kit I used for makeup. In school, we actually got kits, both beauty and special effects starter kits. In our special effects kit, it had paintbrushes because you don't want to use really nice brushes for special effects makeup since the products can ruin them. It had alcohol activated palettes, grease paint palettes, some liquid latex, spear gum, some crepe hair. We made our own gelatin, we made our own blood, we made our own Prozade transfers. It had Mortician's wax, which, let me tell you, Mortician's wax is way better than any of the scar waxes that any makeup company sells. The wax we got is Pierce Plasto #1 Firm. I'll leave a link to it in the description. You get a big tub of it. I've had it for like 3 years now, and I am almost just running out now, whereas the tubs you get from makeup companies are just as expensive and they're tiny. And then for my beauty and like kind of body painting kit, we got a really cheap eyeshadow palette, a really cheap lipstick palette, a whole range of foundation shades and color correctors, really cheap brush set, and I invested in the Wolf Face Paint Basics palette, which has, I think, 12 basic colors in it. Honestly, the kits we got in school were really not that fancy, and a lot of the products aren't that great, and I definitely have things I prefer now after trying other products. Mappy_225 asked me 2 questions. She said, how old are you? And you do makeup every day for Halloween projects, but your skin looks so beautiful. What do you use to remove the makeup? I am 21 years old, and as far as removing my makeup, a lot of people ask me this, and I'm going to put it in the frequently asked questions video too. I take a shower first because all my paints are water activated, and that gets the majority of them off. And then I use a reusable makeup removing cloth, and I use that around my eyes and stuff, or where stuff like didn't come off. And then what I usually use, but I ran out of it, so I need to get more, because the makeup erasers are awesome, but they do leave makeup in the pores, so I found when I just use that to remove my makeup, and I use that to remove my just everyday makeup too, that I was getting some pimples because it wasn't getting all the makeup out of my pores, it just gets it off the surface. So I use Liz Earle's Hot Cloth Cleanse and Polish, I think is the full title of that. I got samples through Birchbox, and that stuff's freaking amazing. It gets all of the stuff out of your pores, even if it looks like you have no makeup on your face and you use that stuff and you wipe it off with the little cloth that comes with it. So much grime comes off on that thing, and it's so gross, but like really satisfying. Alex_Darlington_ asked, how long have you been doing makeup? I've been doing special effects and body painting stuff since October of 2013. That's when I started school. Serena Medina asked, what types of products do you use for your tutorials? I use water activated body paints and eyeshadows for the majority of my tutorials, not the special effects ones, but like I said, all the products I use for each specific tutorial are always listed in the description, besides like foundations and stuff, because that's all personal preference and I don't think you need to buy the exact foundation that I use to achieve the same look. _art_by_SC asked, why did you start YouTube? I started YouTube because I was seeing a lot, and I mean an alarming amount, of unsafe special effects makeup tutorials, and so I wanted to be a reliable and safe source of information for people that wanted to get into SFX makeup or wanted to learn more about SFX makeup. Cosplay X Jerk asks, what are you gonna post if you're done with the 100 Day of Makeup Challenge? Well, as you've seen, I've been kind of MIA on social media, but that's mainly because of my sickness. I do have something up my sleeve. I have mentioned it in my Instagram story a few times. If you're not following me on Instagram, shameless plug here, follow me on Instagram because I do post a lot of updates to my story. So if you're like, where is she? What is she doing? The answer is probably in my Instagram story. It's just an easier way for me to get information out to you guys. So if you're not following me on there, it's the same username here. All of my social media links are in the description if you're ever curious. So I did want to take a lot of November off just to calm down and kind of get geared up for December because I do have some plans for December. But because my Five Nights at Freddy's sister location makeups have done so well, and even now I'm still getting so many requests for different Five Nights at Freddy's characters, I really want to do a series this month. I'm planning to do it not next week, but the week after. I know, Thanksgiving week, kind of weird, but that's kind of what would work out best for me. A series called Five Nights at Freddy's, and do a makeup every single day of the week, a different character from every game excluding World. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and sister location. So be on the lookout for that because I'm probably not going to be posting a video next week because I'm going to be doing prep for that. But on Instagram, I'm probably going to be posting like little teasers of like some fabrication type stuff that I'm going to be doing for that. So once again, look out for that on Instagram. So wow, I think that was all of the questions I got on YouTube and Instagram. If you did send me a question and I somehow missed it and didn't answer it, or you have another question, definitely feel free to comment it down below and I will try to get back to you. I'm trying to be better about responding to comments. But as always, I hope you have a great rest of your day and I will see you tomorrow for the frequently asked questions video. Bye guys.